All right, guys, I want to tell you a story. This is a story that I think most car enthusiasts would never want to have to tell. It's hit and run. All right, let's go back to the beginning, okay? So I was spending the day, this is a leisurely Saturday, did all my errands, and was literally just about to go home. And guess what? As the title of the video said, hit and run. Okay, so I have to tell you the story as it unfolded. So I'm driving along and a white Civic, it's always a Civic, in front of me suddenly stopped. And I realized that there was a parking spot that she was going to pull into. Never signaled, she just slammed on the brakes and stopped. And then immediately put the car in reverse. And I saw this, and instantly, every car guy, you have tunnel vision. And it's like the entire thing unfolded in front of your eyes in slow motion. Just really slow motion. I know what I mean. And just as instantly as she stopped, it happened. Bam! You guessed it. She backed into the front of the i8. And I was in shock. I couldn't believe that this just happened and it unfolded as quickly as it did. So I quickly jumped out of the car and I put my camera on because I didn't have a dash cam installed yet in the car. We're going to talk about dash cams at the end of this video. So I quickly got out and I took this footage. Let me roll it and then we can talk about it. Just backed into my car. Pull over. So, as you can see, she backed into my car and scraped it. The car has Expel, the entire car, the entire i8 is Expel Ultimate on it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. So I quickly ran over to her, and just as I got to her, well, you saw in the video that she attempted to run away. And actually, we'll talk more about that because I had to chase her 4 blocks to stop her. So when I first got to her, I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. You just backed into my car." And you won't believe what her first comment to me was. "Well, why didn't you get out of the way?" And I was like, "What? Oh, wait a minute. So it's my fault that you backed into my car trying to get into a parking spot." And I said to her, "Well, do you see those other cars behind me? Where am I going to back up into? So you want me to have an accident so that you can get into your parking spot?" And then she quickly said, well, why didn't you say something?" I said, "Well, I was leaning into my horn. I was honking." She's like, "I didn't have my radio on. I don't know. You should have said something." So in my head, I'm like, all right, let's get this logic. So I was supposed to jump out of my car, turn it off, run around, knock on your window, and politely say to you, "Excuse me, ma'am, you're about to back into my car." Is that how it's supposed to work? Or I'm supposed to get out and sort of move out of the way and run into the other cars? This logic just was mind-blowingly insane. I couldn't believe it. I've never heard this defense before. So now just her logic is that if anybody else is driving on the road, it's their responsibility to tell the person who's pulling into a parking spot that they are there and they should move out the way. Not her responsibility to be aware of what's around her car. It was all my responsibility. The story gets better. So as you can see in the video, I had to tell her to pull over. And so right after that, she actually took off. So I had to run around the car. I didn't get to talk to the witness behind my car who saw it all happen. I had to literally run after her in the i8, 4 blocks, chase her down to 4 blocks to finally get her to pull over. So I got her license and her registration. She didn't have insurance in the car. So I got her phone number and I gave her my phone number and information. And I didn't do this at the scene of the accident, which was just stupid. Frankly, I probably should have just let her run away, and that would be leaving the scene of an accident, which would have been far more trouble for her, but I caught her. You know, it's just this. I caught her. This gets me riled up telling the story again. So after that, what happens is I left, got all her information and left, and I didn't call the number she gave me because it could have been a fake number, right? So I ended up calling her and saying, the first time I called her, I just got the phone ringing without an answer. I called her again, she said she's driving and she really can't take my number now and her dad is at work and whatever, fine. So I just said, give me a call when you're done. I just need you to call me with your insurance information as soon as you got there. 2 hours passed, her dad calls me on the phone. And this is his story. He goes, so what happens? I started to explain what happened. She's like, well, you hit her. You hit my daughter. She told me she had her turn signal on and you rammed her car. I said, actually, that's not what happened. And if you let me finish, I'll tell you what happened. He's like, I don't know what you're trying to pull here. I don't know what you're trying to pull here. And it must have been 5 miles an hour. It can't be that bad. What kind of car is this? Is this a BMW? What is this? And I said, it's a BMW i8. He's like, it can't be that much at 5 miles an hour. What do you want? Why do you keep calling my daughter? And I said, what? I called your daughter twice. I don't know what you're trying to pull here, sir. And I was like, I'm not trying to pull anything. Your daughter backed into my car, and you know what? Just give me the insurance information. And I said to him, incidentally, I have a video of an accident. You have a video of my daughter? What are you trying to pull here, dude? I was like, bottom line is this. Just give me the insurance information, and I'll be on my way. So he hung up the phone. And then he texted me like 3 minutes later, and don't call my daughter again. You deal with me only. I was like, all right, so obviously your daughter fed you a story here. So let me say this to you. One, ask your daughter to show you her phone log, and you will see that I called her twice. Once went into voicemail, and the other time I called her. So I don't know what your daughter is telling you, but let me just tell you, I've just told you what happened. Just send me the information. Well, it's interesting because I mentioned I had a video. And I think he went back to his daughter and talked to her and probably mentioned that there is a video. And I suspect that she fessed up because the texts that I got from him after that were far more reconciliatory, far more like, you know, oh yes, you know, here's my insurance information, no problem. He was really nice because there was a video, and I didn't send him the video. He only knows that there was a video, and the video that I showed you guys. So anyway, took the car, again, paint protection film, so it actually saved the paint quite a bit, although there was some damage. And I'll maybe make a different video in terms of how much it costs. In fact, I want you guys to guess how much it costs to repair this bumper. Remembering that this car is lots of carbon fiber composites, and it is pretty expensive. It's an i8. So time goes by, get the car in, it's getting repaired, and her insurance broker called me and said, yes, you know, we would like to take care of it. You know, they've admitted guilt, blah, blah, blah. I said, they've admitted guilt. Oh, wow, that's a surprise because that's not how her dad approached me, or apparently what she told her dad. And which is just mind-boggling to me. So I started laughing. I said, did she also tell you that she attempted to leave the scene of an accident? And he said, what? He started laughing so hard. He's like, no, they left that part out. I said, yeah, you may want to talk to them about that because it was pretty obvious what they were up to. And if I didn't have that video, chances are it would have been, I am the one that was at fault. So anyway, the car is back together. I guess a couple of moral of the story here, guys, is a couple of things. One, paint protection film, I think it's worth every penny. If you have a car that you value, Really consider paint protection film. And of course, PPF on the entire car is expensive. I'd love Expel. There are a bunch of other products out there. I love this stuff because it's self-healing and it's just solid, solid, solid. Number two, do yourself a favor, invest in a dash cam. You know, we've always seen those crazy dash cams. They're mostly in like Russia or the former Soviet Union because people pull a lot of scams over there. Not surprisingly, they do that here too. And I won't tell you this girl's name or show you her picture, but she clearly suffered from affluenza. You look it up. Look up affluenza. You'll know what I mean by this. But it was really interesting. First accident, actually it's my second accident. First accident was a deer that ran into my car a long, long time ago, like 10 plus years ago. But I'm pretty careful about how I drive. And this was an eye-opener. So tell me guys, what do you think? What would you have done? Would you have let her just take off and left the scene of an accident? And of course, by that point I had her license plate because it was on video. So I could easily have tracked her down and let the police track her down, but it would have been a lot longer and more drawn-out process. Or would you have chased after her in an attempt to just try to get her to stop? And two, what do you think about dash cams? Do you think they're helpful or they're a distraction? Last but not least, tell me how much you think the repair cost. I'd probably give away like a t-shirt or some Supercars Personified merchandise for the person who comes closest to what it actually costs. Anyway, with that, car is back together. I love Blue Lightning. I love this car to death. I'm still considering whether I'm going to do the Spider or not. But anyway, that is my hit and run story in the Blue Lightning. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Man, people are crazy.